Saludos, my name is Eselin Gomez, and welcome to Unmute a Jongnan, Unmute the Youth. Today we're here with Imani Yanga. Can you give an introduction of yourself?
Mi naam is Imani Yanga. Met een estudiante in exterior. And we're here at the table to have a conversation, a dialogue on concerns di Yongnang. Yes, that's me. How about you?
Okay, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Eselin Gomez. I am a young professional. I was born on the island of Aruba. I studied abroad until después me decidi de tomar paso para vir back na mi país, mi propio país.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, kung Unmute a Jongnan actually came to fruition? Like, tell me about the process, how it came about.
Well, door di papiando ko diferentes stakeholders, kuta deal ko Yongnan din nos komunidad, no sabing ko ideia junto ko UNESCO e Tele Aruba, kutambe ta purba di engage mas ko youth kunanta wak e Yongnan ta parte de komunidad inanta missing a gap a the age ranges. Dus asina no sabing together kunang brainstorm some ideas, try to get people to come to the table, which was hard. Pero nonetheless, we keep it going and keep pushing until hopelijk nos prahaya mas Yongnang at the table. The table is big. Dus 10 lugar pa mas gente pa discuss. Dus asina e topic e idea di Unmute e Yongnang abing. Dus see.
Exactly, and that's especially Unmute, the party, you also have a voice, so you gotta make sure you make use of that voice and address the concerns. For today, if you have any concern that you would like to share via text message, you can do that. Manda un text message na 597-2323.
Yes.
Okay, so looking ahead, right? What to you is an ideal Aruba? An Aruba that you would be proud to come back to, and to come live maybe in the future?
Wow. Okay, mi idea di un young coming back to Aruba, as mi not bibanda ginan tuvalak mi tan Aruba wo, pero mi idea di un ideal Aruba ta un Aruba una nosta yuda otro, collaborate with each other, brainstorm new ideas, move away of traditional way of living. Nos diz para esse sistema está trabalhando, não que é necessariamente que o sistema está bom, que nós está melhorando. Não todo dia está malo, pero definitely to have more conversations with each other para o que nos mister de outro e não pensa, oh my God, amiso. So that to me is my ideal Aruba, working with each other for a better Aruba. So yeah, how about you? Kiko tabo ideia de ideal Aruba? Yes.
Okay, for me, ideal Aruba ta definitely an Aruba that, like you mentioned, you have freedom of expression. This po expresar po mes libremente without being judged, because at the end of the day, tabo opinion, so it doesn't really matter what anyone else has to say. Tamating amor pa país, is amor propio, and that truly means at times putting others first before yourself.
Yeah.
I would say the most important part pa mi tamit ay parte di union. A lot of times I feel that nos timan I don't want to generalize, but it's like a crab bucket mentality.
Yeah.
Ami, I have to be better than you. I have to reinvent the wheel. If it's working already, why can't we all come to the table and see, okay, maybe this part isn't working, but this part is actually working, so we can move forward with that. So for me, a parte de união, anto trabalho junto é parte mais importante para minha persona. I think also honesty. You know, if something isn't working, you have to be honest about it.
Yes.
You know, also a country of un país with transparencia. I think that's also an ideal Aruba for me, because of course if you're not transparent, bonola sa kikopotin ko derecha. So
Yes.
for me, that's also an ideal Aruba. An ideal Aruba tamit un Aruba kuta sustainable. I would say one that I would be happy and proud to wake up in the morning to enjoy the fresh air, because it is truly a blessing to live on Aruba that's outside the hurricane belt. So for me, a sustainable Aruba tamita, a picture of what for me I would consider an ideal Aruba.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what we wanted to come at first on the puntra iyong ng Kiko Pabo tong ideal Aruba. So definitely think about it, and we will definitely come back to it in other episodes. Kung nos mejora nos Aruba pabira e ideal Aruba paturhende. kuta ifo. Dus, yes.
Correcto. Aruba Excellence Foundation took out a video on eigenlijk loketa jeito, loket panang ore of Aruba certification program, loket panang eigenlijk ta Aruba, the ideal Aruba in a way you can say it from a different perspective of basically just what an Aruban identity should stand for or should look like at least. So we're gonna take a moment and look at that video.
É secreto de Aruba sua felicidade está viva e brinda serviço com nosso jeito. Celebrar nossa cultura. Viva com amor para nossa isla. Manter união de uma família. Respeitar nossa opinião e liberdade. Manter a autenticidade. Demonstrar orgulho para nosso herói nacional. Expressar o carisma. Conservar nossa natureza. Inspirar o mês com criatividade. Nosso jeito, nossa história, nossa hospitalidade, nossa sociedade. Certificar o mês.
So, like you saw, the Aruba Excellence Foundation, to them, what would be considered an ideal Aruba of por what considerar como ese is an Aruba that celebrates, an Aruba that loves, that has union, that has liberty or freedom of expression, that is authentic, that has pride,
Definitely.
that has charisma, that conserves, and that inspires.
Yes.
Looking at this video, do you feel that the product Aruba matches what you see in reality?
Well, sí y no. De cierta manera, punto nang ko ba mention, definitely love, authenticity, charisma, mi por waki say dingi hindi nang. Pero at the same time, the biggest thing pa mi ta union. Anta mi ta sinti essay ta missing. Tur hindi ta purba ng best, of course. Everyone tries their best to have that product, a product Aruba, the perfect ideal Aruba, one happy island. Pero in realidad, nos ta echt mani trapariba otro ting ora, anto nos ta echt yuda otro. I come together to make this better. Dus de uma maneira mi tabi sa si, pero outra maneira nan tambi no. Dus pabo, e video aqui, kiko bo por bisa ta e realidade di e video, bota wak e say den bo daily life abo ko tabi bando kinang na Aruba?
You know, I would say, because again, you know, I don't want to generalize this. Ku parte gente and some communities nanta echt pura pating e parte di union. But a lot of times what happens is you hear a lot of different opinions out there.
Yes.
A lot of different narratives are created. And though some people don't tend to fact check. So you go based off of what was a made-up story. And that, again, is what's going to separate individuals. And in terms of, is it the reality? I don't think so. I really don't think that a producto Aruba, or Aruba as a whole, the reality of what's being offered, it isn't like the reality for us who are living here. I feel a lot of things has changed since the past, and of course, the past is the past, yes. But if you're gonna change, it should change for the good. And in my opinion, Hopicos no cambia. You know, I'm not gonna say everything, pero Hopicos no cambia pa lo mejor. On the outside, it looks like things have changed for the better. But on the inside, it really has not. That has not been the case.
Okay, but the papia di change. E change ki bokemen since election ka pasa, of in general since porta COVID, big time in there's big happening during the time of combo kemen di it change. Kiko bata comparando it change kune.
Okay, so I would look at most definitely COVID, but prior to that, I think look at COVID hasita really helped some people realize what was going on. You know, some people tend to live in denial because it's easier not to have to deal with the reality of it. But COVID, for those who struggled with it, then it really showed the reality of it, that it's not all green on the other side, you know, most definitely. So in that aspect, I would say that's the change in terms of a lot of people struggled Although it seems, so, let's jump into the topic of tourism, for example.
Yeah.
Although it seems that everything is going good, we have a lot of tourists coming to the island, but the reality of it is that a lot of people don't get to eat from that pie,
Yes.
They get a small portion of it, maybe.
And the say também um ponto que nós quer have at the table, que diz pa sobra nós tá kinang anto nós tá papiani no que men nós tá pensando de a greater youth e young nang, não necessariamente youth, pero e young professionals. Gente de nossa comunidade que a decidir de em vez de seguir a trajectory, sorry, mi papiamento não tá bom, a trajectory de follow the traditional school. Tem gente diz simplesmente não por esse, não por afford esse, não tem emissão talento para se certo com assim, não tem talento em outra área, dus não vai outra direção, vai trabalhar. Tudo é gente aqui nós quer bring to the table, nós quer have conversations about it, conversations que at the end of the day it affects us all. Então, Pakiko nos no ta at the table in this conversation. Pakiko nos sample tawara pa politico. We don't have to wait for the politicians. It's our time to make our own decision, think more critically. Basta have conversations about things kuta matter din nos ko ising warda ko, oh my God, gabineta kay, oh my God, I want us fighting campaign. It should not be campaign e ora bota being drenta ding Jongnan. It should be from the get-go. Pakiko nos nota part of the conversation. Nos ta e futuro di Aruba kunang kier of kunanta acknowledge ise awo. It's up to them, pero nos definitely ku e situação de vergrijzing, brain drain, two major opposites. We have to be part of their plan. Kunang kiere of not this. Esse também point ko também me se want to make, pero you definitely make a good point thing tourism. This esse pami também major concern because it's our major. Don't know another way because it's all we know and it's traditionally all we have. Y no son tabisano tampoco by tourism because it's not sustainable, it not makes sense.
Yeah.
Pero nos miss definitely adaptar. Dus here we have a survey, sí, di ATA, toevallig die aan aqui ku awardo completed rond die just 8 de maart, anto na bij ding Centro de Barrio, ding differente festivals, una na haya comunidad. And what is very interesting, you can see here, is ku concerns na kita come voor, denk ik,
frequently.
Hoop frequently miss. Dus hoop je hene den tahaya, anto ku a volume of tourists, economic concerns, community engagement, infrastructure improvements, environmental issues. Tudo sa akin ang takos na ko constantmente tabing vor. Kuta tempo di eleksyon of no, it comes forward because it's general issues. Dus, kimita kibisa ta,
and
ku di esaki, ting obviously pros and cons. Dus, Kiko bopo bisa ta e pros promeko nos echt by delve into the issues. Kiko bodlo bisa ta pros di elista aki.
I mean, most definitely tourism brings money, so I can't deny that. It's the bread and butter for majority or most people on the island, I would say. It allows us to meet with other cultures as well. I mean, we're already a multicultural island, but with this being said, you get to meet other individuals still who actually live abroad, I would say. Sadly, for me, that's all the pros, I would say. It's supposed to bring better infrastructure, better airport. It's supposed to bring in a revenue that we can use, like for hospitals, for schools, even for sports. It's supposed to definitely lead to more environmental awareness, like ecotourism, but unfortunately, that's not the reality of it.
Yes, definitely. And the same thing, ora, you have to be very careful, pasobra. Yeah, turismo ta, all we know. touchy subject vooral across the island because that's what we have. That's what, like you said, our bread and butter. Pero behalve die, like if you put pros and cons aside, miss, like kiko botahayat e ora ik die concerns dan ki kung nos po bij die landi kung nos por bijvoorbeeld a volume of tourists ko bota wakinang kiko nos por hasi pa tackle issues dan ki ko toch bota bisa ta sustainable y kung nos lo por implemente for a long run una nos ta adaptar nos turismo pa nos at the end of the day, mane e video di jaito tame bisa have the perfect Aruba, have the product Aruba unda not only e turismo ta sigi engrandecer, pero nos tambe como persona nam bibando day in and day out here ta echt wasa contento about it. Kung nos tabay solucionar e volume of tourists, e economic, kiko abata pensa ding e
like I think in terms of the volume of tourists, so nos por, see if we can promote visits like during off-peak seasons, you know, like what they call it, low seasons, I would say. Promote that, give tourists an incentive to come to the island, because I think it would be pros for those actually working in tourism, because September is usually seen as a low season. So if you promote that and offer incentives, it's going to be a pro for both individuals, both the tourists and the individuals working, I would say. So that's one way for, the crowding situation.
Okay.
As for the economic concerns, I would say, and even the housing situation, because the housing situation has been brought up many, many times.
Yeah.
I think even without tourism, so thinking about that, we already have a housing crisis, I would say. Yeah. So with tourists, it even makes the situation more worse. I would say as a solution, you got to control short-term rentals. We're not saying we don't want short-term rentals, but I would say control. And control is a topic that we heavily, definitely need to use on the island. Because again, you have people, and in a way I don't blame them, because it's, of course, maybe their bread and butter also, like that's the means of income, making sure they have extra revenue for themselves and their families. Yeah. That's great, but the overarching topic from this is to make sure that, it's not one person that eats. Everyone needs to make sure they get a piece of the pie. Everyone needs to make sure that they eat as well. Definitely. So that's one, some other solutions for that. What would you say is a solution for the environmental concern?
Well, the mi perspectiva in infrastructure and environmental concern, it's been going on for years. But awak ku immenso amount of turismo ta stroba infrastruktura di caminda nang, dus carretera nang Aruba, boting wativos, boting green corridor. All of this was, it's a good idea because it helps people get to the other side, and vice versa. Pero amount of turismo kuno
doesn't match the increase.
Tas troba toch pasobra tanto bal ko boting caminda nang grande, pero ting asina hopi turismo, ting asina hopi hende mes to go from point A to point B. It becomes too much. And ting ora botabis, okay, miti sali tal ora, you always, voral hinang kutriba ng Aruban sa tait mani ami, you have to put a certain time pa sobra maske ku bosa ku bati galat, ting trafiko, turista ta, anto voral ku accident ku everything, like it's a hard thing to tackle. Dus infrastruktura ta ayaw kuno definitely Mr. by figure out
or try and reform in some way, shape or form, because
ita hopi complica y pabisa tame ba mention environment. That is
a super big issue.
Hopi grande. Nos ta importa everything, well, not everything, of course not, pero nos importa basta cosfe afo, and then our needs, the tourist needs, unda ture ko kita bay, unda ture waste tabay, dus amita haya waste management ta algo ku nos echt mese by deal kune, and especially kung nos ta undi e top ng den Caribe for vacations. These also reflect in the reports. You know, it's yes, nos por give a product Aruba, nos por smile ku turismo, nos por give them clientele, nos ting e jeito, nos ting e charisma, nos ting e proudness of our country. Pero kiko etapa nos mes como gente ng kutabiba kinang.
Yeah, we have to deal with
nos
it.
ta mustra man everything is good, pero at the end of the day, bibando bayendo kas, but oh my God, this this is not going good. Like, inota un sustainable plan. Dus, definitely, isay tambe, ta algo ko nos mesabay deal ko ni, antamita bisa. Yes, I'm very proud di kung nos ta promove One Happy Island and everything. Like, we try our best. We've been doing good. Ivoral din tempo di COVID, bawa kung importante hotel, not necessarily hotel, turismo, hospitality sector in general, but it's not only hotels, it's restaurant, it's people who get body point A for point B. It's every person you meet, every face the tourists meet, we got that on lock. But at the same time, like I feel like it's a repeating subject, but nos tehene nang at the end of the day, kumester deal kuture otro kos nang ku turismo no tawag. Dus turista nang no tawag kung nos may struggle ting hopi hende din komunidad kung may traha multiple jobs.
Correcto.
Because only, like you said at the beginning, only a pie takomi bong. It's kung nos ta manebabisa tambe short-term rentals. Nos may tackle essay, pero nos may tackle nos mes como ciudadano. Yes, nos ta ding housing crisis. Not only for tourists, but ting ora hotel nanta sinayin ko na may send them to short-term rentals, pero nos mesong hende ng kutatraha din turismo, kutatraha multiple jobs, kikoy tapanang kung nang tabay dilanti, kung nang ta feed ng family, and say ting ora boda bisa, okay, yes, mita hopi contento about the product, pero kung nos tabay hasi turismo sustainable pa turismo ipaturista ng mes, pero in vergelijking new ways pa hinka komunidad ding a conversation.
Exactly.
I tambe mit kesa ata isa kita definitely online if you search it. Ita dia aya aki. You can see in the presentation ko ata duma tambe di a survey ku asta hinan ding turismo, ku tatraha ding hospitality sector nang tambe,
sinti ko
ng boss no tawardo.
It's
It's
like an afterthought, basically.
Itong afterthought. Nanta happy ku turismo tayo na buong pasobra, it's their bread and butter. Pero nata sinti man ng boss mes no ta matter. Ante setup laga po pensa man wow. If people kuta deal ko sa aki, kuta bisa, wow, turismo is good and everything, nang mes ta pensa sina, it makes you wonder, like, what's really going on?
Exactly.
And that's what we need to switch. Ivoral, podcast ki nota gericht, nota gericht pa eleksyon, nos nota politically affiliated, definitely not. Pero, it makes you wonder, kung nanta ba do all of this? Because at the end of the day, nos ta bota pa nang.
Exactly. And we wanna...
Ami na pa vota, pa sa mi nota current resident kinang tuvalak mi ta na Aruba, dus ami na pa vota. Pero that doesn't take me away from the table. Because ami oit, ihopelijk soon to by beam back. And these are all discussions that we're supposed to have with multiple people.
And even if you don't come back, you have family that live here, so you also want the best for them as well.
Dus isa kinanta definitely points ang kumeste wardo discussed. Like, we need to be more critical. We need to... Misako yung nang voral awendia, nanta vocal, nang saki ko nang kiar, nang saki ko kung nang kiwakos by dilanti, pero at the same time, itabisa, nanota, no ko nanota kritiko. Ting ora nanta pensa kritis, pero mayor nang of a older generation ta shot nang down. Anto seta un punto ko nos mese purba di break. We need to laga young nang, like I said again, no kimin later like young, pero a younger generation,
young professionals
bo meste
also.
laga nang por papia freely. Dus definitely iseta meta tambi di a podcast keep on us talk about concerns and yeah.
And exactly, like whomever is going to have this cartera is going to have, a bit of work. It is a very important cartera. So whomever you choose to use your highest right and vote into office, you got to make sure that person also represents your values, because the end goal should be sustainable development because we want sustainable tourism.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move forward. So back in 2021, there were already some concerns by the youth. So we're going to take a quick look at a video from a former OGM student and now an MA graduate.
Yeah.
Hello, mi nombre es Jamie Zara y para mi bachelor thesis ko me completa na Universidad de Aruba na 2023. Mi haso investigasyon na kung politiko ng tausare na social para motivar a juventude de Aruba para votar e também para influenciar na participação política. Después de a caída do gabinete Waiver Cruz 1 na 2021, mitaba tinha interesse para ver se o esforço de político na riba rede social tinha impacto, especificamente riba a juventude de Aruba. Mirando que o jovem ante o futuro de nossa isla, é hope importante para parte ativo do processo político formal. Total de 121 estudantes da Universidade de Aruba e IPA a participar da investigação. Segundo o dado, a juventude de Aruba prefere receber informação política via rede social. Pero, político não somente me ser ativo online. A juventude de Aruba está de acordo que o político não me ser tem uma visão clara e que está conectado com a preocupação e aspiração. A juventude de Aruba quer lidar com um interesse genuíno em assunto que é importante para nós. Maneira, trabalho, educação, economia, cambio climático e transparência política. É essencial que o político não compreenda isso aqui e põe a preocupação de jovens como prioridade. A juventude de Aruba também enfatiza que não quer incluir em plano e visão para o futuro de nossa isla. Para concluir, dos main takeaways de minha investigação está que a juventude de Aruba quer ser escuchada e que não voz ressonar. Na preocupação não é somente relevante a hoje, pero de uma forma na política de amanhã. Involucrando a juventude agua é essencial para estimular cambio significativo e duradouro para nossa isla.
Okay, so Hobenang ta e futuro de nossa isla. So with that being said, they should always be part of political decisions. And if we want to create a sustainable community, we need to make sure that for this generation and the next generation to come, that their voices are heard. It's not just about using youth to campaign with them, to make it look or give the illusion that they are included in decisions or that they are included in general or thought of. It should be both on and off social media that the concerns of youth and their perspectives are heard because they do matter. So again, the climate can change, so can the political landscape and the political climate. And remember that you as a youth, your voice matters, regardless of the culture that sometimes we tend to have in Aruba, like a culture of fake. So, but husga because, you know, that's what you were, bofamia or whatever, that's what you were taught. Not. If you have something to say, you got to say it irregardless. You got to make sure, you know, you live relentlessly and unapologetically. Okay, so if you're interested in voicing your concerns, make sure to fill out a survey that we created. You want to explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have a survey out right now. Anto, nós está purbando de engage mas ku Jongnan, puntando pergunta ng key concerns ng nanting. Si Abo ta interesado em even filling out the survey, lo help a lot. Pasamisa ko hindi tamit miedo pa bing mesa, pero toch, eta hopi bong patok boso por hasi isaki, dus essay tong option i boso po also like Etelina mentioned at beginning, boso po texte le Aruba si boso kier pata mas fácil, I guess. Texte le Aruba na 597-2323 and we will see your questions and we will try to talk about it and be more critical in these topics. Dus definitely, si botong young.
And remember that on October 18, Jabier na Aki, lista ta drop. So make sure you look at that list critically to make sure that you maybe vote for someone who has a feasible plan and actually represents your values. And yeah, bobalorna, because about 79,824 people can vote, and that includes youth as well. So make use of it and stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be talking about health issues and healthcare and other concerns that maybe you brought up via text message.
Yes, just definitely stay tuned for the next episodes. If you want to come to the table, if you want to voice your concerns, like I said before, definitely do it because we need to break the stigma ku, oh my God, mi opinion not matter, mi not by vota, basta na to worry. Okay, now to worry, pero nos me se packet an otro. Just definitely voice your opinion. Try to come to the table. We are eager to hear what you want to say and have to say. Ikong nos by pak an e futuro. Just definitely unmute yourself.
Unmute. Mm-hmm.
Definitely word of the week. Unmute yourself and stay pending for the list. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see
and
you.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, the right of